Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Is This Okay? Where we talk about things and ask the question, is this okay? There we go.
I'm Jenny.
I'm Daisha.
I'm Nyla.
I'm Chris.
I'm Becky.
So today we're gonna talk about a very scary topic. Offensive Halloween costumes! That was good, that was great. So this topic came about when I saw a lot of articles being written about the Moana costume. There was like this costume where it was like, you know, full tats, and also you could see like the brown skin underneath the tats. So I would like to ask friends, where do you draw the line with offensive costumes?
Well, for me personally, we see like sexy Indian, and then we also see the warrior.
When I see Asian costumes, because a lot of it actually appeals to a very pan-Asian, like oh, Japanese and Chinese, they're like basically the same thing.
For instance, like that MLK party, and it was like, come dressed as black people. And it's like, so then you have people throwing up gang signs and wearing baggy clothes and doing all this shit, but when have you ever seen a party being like, oh, come dressed as white people?
If I wore an offensive costume that offended you or something, and I were to say to you, Chris, it's just a costume, like, get over it, it's just Halloween. Like, how would you react to that?
People are like, it's just a costume, it's just a movie, it's just a game, it's just a kid show.
Yeah, it's just something.
It's just something. Because everyone thinks that it's just this one thing, it normalizes a lot of these horrible like mindsets of like, oh, well, I thought black people just looked like this. I thought Asian people just looked like this. I thought Native people just looked like this.
That's how Native Americans dress. And you would not believe the number of people who actually seriously, in all seriousness, will ask me, but isn't that the way Native Americans dress?
Is it just a matter of doing your research?
If someone came to me and said, you know, I want to dress as Pocahontas for Halloween, or I want to dress as Crazy Horse for Halloween, I'd be like, great. Learn about them, what tribes they were from, what their traditions were, how they actually dressed, what their actual history was, not just I'm generically dressing in this weird little buckskin fringe and calling it Pocahontas. If you don't know anything about the character you're dressing as, why do you want to dress as that character in the first place? Wouldn't you rather dress as something that you are impressed by, that you do have some knowledge of?
Because then how can you say that you're trying to honor those people and that culture if you didn't even take 2 seconds to look it up?
But this also like stems from education though too, is like, I think like we can all sit here and say like, it takes 2 seconds to look it up and it's easy peasy lemon squeezy for us because we're all culturally competent. But I think like, you know, you have these universities that have story after story after story of blackface and cultural appropriation, and the deans excuse it. So it's kind of like, well, if the deans are excusing it, then it's okay that we can do it. Do you hold them accountable as much as you hold the school accountable because they're not holding the students accountable?
Yeah, I mean, like, everyone needs to be held accountable. Actually, a lot of schools are telling kids to be cognizant of the fact that they could be offensive, and it's the kids that are fighting against it.
Right. It was a master, actually. It was a faculty member, or a staff member.
Oh, it was a staff member?
Who actually said, is there no
worse.
Even worse.
But I think this just goes beyond like only white people doing it. I think that it is important that we like look deeper into this and kind of dismantle systematic racism and figure out ways, like Halloween itself just perpetuates all these stereotypes. It's not one specific group that does it. I think, you know, the holiday itself, the holiday, it's not just race, it's misogyny, it's homophobia, it's all of, transphobia, you know, Islamophobia, it's all of these things.
So a while ago, I had a friend who dressed up as a black celebrity that he really loved. He wore blackface. And we were going to a party and we had a black friend of ours who thought it was really funny. It was all about this idea that the costume was great. And they talked about how, but just not upset anybody, they would not put the photos on Facebook. It still felt a little odd to me, but they were like, if no one else is seeing it and everyone else here knows that we are not racist and we all think the blackface is funny, then there's no harm, no foul. And the black friend of mine essentially said, don't be offended on behalf of black people. Like I'm saying, if I'm the only one here that sees this and I'm comfortable with it, it should be okay.
Okay.
Just because you and the fact that you are a black person thought that it was funny, like you have to understand that as a whole community, that sets us back.
I feel very mixed about it because like, you're allowed to have your opinion. Like we're all individuals and like Asian people, black people, like we all don't have a hive mind. And so we all don't have to like think the same way about things.
Again, both of those people are fine. You can live in the same world, but the person that's not offended has no right to tell the other person that they shouldn't be offended.
And even if he's the only black person at that party, you all live in the world. And everybody else is taking that experience and the sort of assumption that this is okay back into the real world, and that feeds into a continuing problem.
It seems like the next question is then what do we do about how they keep happening? And it seemed like you guys were saying that you want the schools to take more responsibility, but at what point can does the school then, I mean, after you educate, what are you gonna say? You have to approve your costume with us?
So for instance, I went to a school and somebody had wrote the word nigger on the wall. I think they said, I wish all niggers would die, something like that. And so instead of like specifically going after the individual, the school then said, okay, somebody clearly thought that this was a space in which they could say something like that. So we're gonna reevaluate the space and we're gonna create programming to talk about these things and to create a different kind of environment that we actually wanna foster so that no one ever thinks that this is a space that they can write that kind of stuff.
It's a tough issue that I hope that we all think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you all already know what to do. Leave your comments in the comment section below.
Be nice to each other.
Yeah, be nice to each other. It's the internet. You guys love one another. Jeez. And we will see you next week. Okay.